Hello and welcome to another fabulous edition of Ghettofabulous Warhammer. Today we have 2,400 points of hot elf on elf action. My Dark Elves versus High Elves. I was pretty excited about that. Uh, battle report number 2, so only 2 games so far, but you see plenty of battle reports with High Elves, and I've always kind of wondered why they seem so effective. Uh, they're elves, they should be pretty easy to wound, pretty easy to kill. So I was looking forward to this as a great learning opportunity. What makes the High Elves tick? My list, level 4, again with Darkness, trying that out. I added the Ruby Ring and from last game and promptly forgot I had it, so was never used this game, so you can purge it from your memory banks. The 2 Pigmasters, no change from last game. They seemed very effective for what they needed to do. Kept the level 2 with Metal, which again, so far seems like it's a good supporting spell lore. 3 squads of 14 crossbowmen. I added 2 musicians for the 2 squads I put on my flanks, just in case they're there to help clear chaff and win the flank battle. So if something like light cavalry runs by them, well, if they have musicians, they can maybe still just turn and shoot. So figured that'd be handy. I dropped a small unit of executioners and picked up another small squad of witch elves. If there's speed bumps, but their speed bumps are supposed to do a little bit of damage. It might be nice to have the witch elves which strike a little bit faster, so they don't get overrun like the executioners might. Kept the shades, kept the bolt throwers, and I actually got a Hydra model in. So instead of using 2 proxied models from last time, or a proxy and a Hydra, I just have 1 actual Hydra model with breath. My opponent, the High Elves, didn't get all his war gear, but just had him a table. Level 4 with Shadow, which seems like a good lore, but not quite as effective against elves. Level 2 is high, which I'd never seen used before, so that will be interesting. Someone called an Anointed One. I think he was like a Lord level character, gave his squad 6+ ward. Here level BSB, and then you can see the rest. Which this is kind of what I was hoping to see, because there's White Lions in there's Phoenix Guards, so all the stuff that I always hear and see in battle reports. Now I get to try them out myself. Here's the painted, or the elf army out on the board. Uh, he's actually got a lot of stuff painted or being painted, but this particular list didn't have as much. Here's my unpainted horde. And the table. Since he's fairly new and I'm definitely new, again, kept it fairly simple. Couple forests, couple hills, couple pieces of impassable terrain, and call it a day. There's the left flank. There's foreshadowing. My left flank eventually. And the right flank with a clear middle, which again seems to be the trend for fantasy battles. There's the overlay, the map. And once again, still wrestling with Battle Chronicler and Movie Maker here. Each of those grids is 12 by 12 inches, and you can see in the north and the south, for whatever reason, it likes to chop them off. So there'll be 1 or 2 things very close to the edge of the board that won't show up on the map. But that's why it's Ghettofabulous. We'll get there. Here are the spells my opponent rolled. Again, shadows, so those are pretty straightforward. And Apotheosis and Fiery Convocation, so we'll see how those go for high magic. For my dark magic, Doombolt, Chill Wind, Blade Wind, and Word of Pain, and then Final Transmutation and Searing Doom, which I thought was a good mix for my level 2. Deployment. My left, his right. We'll start with his far right there. That's his unit of 21, I think, White Lions, and his level 4, which right away I thought was good for me, as that was a lot of points invested way off on the flank. He's got his Reavers there next, followed by a Bolt Thrower on the hill, and then getting towards the center there. That's the huge unit of like 30 spearmen. He has his level 2 attached, his BSB, and his anointed one. On my far left there, I got a unit of 14 crossbowmen, one of my pegmasters. In the center there, got 14 witch elves. Behind that, the Hydra. Behind that, a bolt thrower, and then the 14 witch elves towards the center there. On the opposite flank, on the far right, starting with his far right, you have the Great Eagle behind the hill, a bolt thrower on top of the hill. He's got his unit of 20 Phoenix Guard, and then in the center are his archers. On my far right, got my warlocks peeking out there just barely on the screen. Next to them, the crossbowmen. And then in front of them in the woods there, I had scouted the 2 squads of shades. I've got the pegmaster there, and then 3 bolt throwers on the hill, and 14 crossbowmen in front of them. He elected not to move his reavers. I thought it was kind of weird, but I did move my warlocks forward. So here we go with the map. Right now, the only thing that's not really showing, if you look on the middle, bottom of the page there, you'll see H1 is my Hydra. Below that is my bolt thrower on the edge. He's not on the map, but I assure you, he is there on the table, ready to shoot things. Looking at the map overall, I was pretty excited so far. I thought things would go my way. The right flank, my right flank, he just got the bolt thrower. Oh, I guess his eagle should be on there too. Um, the eagle will show up as well. Anyway, right flank, looking forward to that. I thought I could take out the bolt thrower and then just kind of wheel and start picking away at the center with my ranged attacks, which meant I would have some chance to take out the Phoenix Guard. My left flank, I was pretty sure I was going to lose, but that was okay. I figured I could kill the Reavers, whittle down the White Lions, and then, sure, the White Lions are going to kill the crossbowmen, but it's going to take them a couple turns to get there. There are a lot of points. The level 4's out of position. And while he's doing that, I can focus most of my attention on his center, kill and whittle down his big blocks, and then I can make, I can shift my center of mass to the right and make him trudge all the way across the board while I pick away at him. So, that was the plan. We'll see how it goes. First turn goes to my opponent, who moves his reavers forward. And in fact, pretty much everything else moves forward. Here come the White Lions. The eagle jumps forward to hide behind the rock. You can see there the Phoenix Guard and the Spearmen moving forward as well. In fact, the archers moved a little bit as well. Here's the map showing it. And no surprise, but it's a general advance by the High Elves, since they've got a lot of melee and not as much shooting as me. Magic phase comes up 8. He casts Miasma, and he casts a Withering. I don't remember. One of them went through, one of them didn't. Um, it was from his level 4 over there on the flank, and he cast it into this crossbowman. Again, I dispelled one of them. I didn't really care too much. The crossbowmen are going to die with whatever touches them, so I was not really shaken by this event. Shooting phase, his reavers do pick off one of them, which again, fine. It's not a huge loss, but crossbowman, or the bolt thrower up there, shoots at my pegmaster and misses. His archers shoot my witch elves there and kill 4 of them. They don't panic or anything, obviously, they're frenzied. So, not a huge deal, but it's several of them gone. And on my right, the bolt thrower, despite shooting at skirmishers in the woods, manages to kill 4 of them. So I was not pleased with that. Here you can see the overview of the shooting. So, yeah, all in all, not terrible. I lost a few here, a few there, but nothing devastating. there's a quick overview. There is something devastating, however, in that my shades panic and run at the beginning of my turn, and that panics the warlocks, who turn and run. So now the right flank is not looking as secure as it once had. Oh, actually, I guess they ran at the end of the shooting phase, and then at the beginning of my phase, the shades and warlocks run off the table. So that's why they're gone in this picture, and the right flank is looking even less secure now. And an inauspicious start for my warlocks, although it wasn't really their fault. They never got a chance to shine, so we'll test them out again some other time. There they go, off the map. So, on the left flank for my movement, crossbowman stay still, Pegmaster flies up and take out the bolt thrower. You can see the tail of the Hydra, he moved a bit. There he is. I run the Witch Elf squad forward, and then the other Witch Elf squad kind of positions. My thought here was, well, whoever, the Phoenix Guard, Spearman, whoever wants to, can charge the Witch Elves. They'll kill them. They hopefully will overrun and move forward, and then that'll give my Hydra a great opportunity to move up and flame lengthwise down the flank, and hopefully get a boatload of wounds. And on the right flank, the shades move up, the crossbowmen move up and wheel a bit to face the center and the right flank, and the Pegmaster moves up so he can charge whatever towards the center. Here's the overview on the map. So I'm starting the stall on the left, wheel to sweep up the right, and then just shoot the center. Magic phase. I believe after this I started just showing dice for whatever after channels. So I think it was 4 dice versus 2. So I cast Chill Wind first, a nice low casting cost. Looks like I cast it at the archers. And then I cast Blade Wind, and I had to kill somebody to get that off. I cast that at the spearmen. I killed 4 of the spearmen with Blade Wind, and I got the little lore attribute bonus, so I killed 1 more with that. And then I had a couple dice left. I tried Doom Bolt at the Phoenix Guard, but it failed to go off. A little too high on the casting cost. I didn't want to butcher anybody else. I think even if it was so low, I couldn't, even killing somebody was unlikely to go through. I don't think I killed anyone with Chill Wind on the archers, so just a few spearmen gone. Shooting phase, crossbowmen plank off a reaver. I had hoped for a little bit more. So this bolt thrower here attempted to clean up and did. Killed off 4 of the remaining reavers. So that was some decent progress there. In the center, my crossbowmen fired at the archers, as did the bolt throwers on Bolt Thrower Hill. They had a lot of targets. The spearmen were kind of behind cover for the archers since my witches run away. The Phoenix Guard had the rocks blocking a lot of them from the bolt throwers. And I was kind of worried actually about the archers because the melee units can be redirected. They have to fight, have limited options on shooting or engaging. So I could kind of deal with them a bit more, whereas the archers were less predictable. They had a lot more options. So I thought they were a high priority to get rid of first. So that's why I targeted them. And between the bolt throwers and the crossbowmen, I killed quite a few. Well, plus the level 2 you can see is in there, so I figured that'd be a good thing to take out. So I think I killed 9 or 10, took out a rank. And my crossbowmen on the right flank take out 1 of the bolt thrower crew, which meant my shades here, who, I had for later for options, couldn't shoot the eagle. I wanted to take out the bolt thrower, and they shot it and did kill it. So overall, Took out the Reavers, killed a bunch of archers, and took out a bolt thrower. Seemed like a fairly productive round of shooting. We'll see how it goes. For the high elf round 2, they start moving forward again. Here's the White Lions. They're now danger close. The Spearman block charges into my Witch Elves, and the Phoenix Guard just march past. I wish I could go back and look at this, because now I'm wondering, looking at where the eagle was and facing, I wonder if I was in that front arc. But regardless, um, he charges his Great Eagle into my bolt thrower and makes it. It's a fairly long roll, but the eagle's fairly quick. So there's the overview. I wasn't too thrilled with the Great Eagle thing, but we'll see how it goes. And again, you can look on there and you go, wait a minute, that's over 2 blocks. It's over 24 inches. This is Ghettofabulous. These are all, map is not to scale. Magic was 9 dice versus 6, so pretty powerful magic phase. He starts with the pendulum, and he wants to shoot that from his level 4 over there through my Hydra, and potentially, if he rolls high enough, into my Witch Elves. I thought about this for a little bit, but ultimately I figured, yeah, what is it, D3 wounds, so my Hydra will get a chance to regenerate those. The Witch Elves have high initiative, so it may not do too much damage. So I let it through, and of course it does put 3 wounds on my Hydra, but it didn't reach my Witch Elves, so none of them got hurt. He then casts Fiery Convocation, targeting my Witch Elves, but it fails to go off. So, despite having a fairly significant number of power dice and advantage over my Dispel dice, he only gets off the Pendulum and does 3 wounds on my Hydra. So, fairly good magic phase for me. His Bolt Thrower shoots at my Pegmaster with multi-shot, manages to hit once. I believe that's the Pegmaster with the Cloak of Twilight and the Lance. His archers shoot at my crossbowmen and do nothing. With the penalties for all the stuff in the way, we did okay there. Here's melee, and no big surprise that the horde of spearmen with the 2 characters were able to kill a decent amount of Witch Elves, although realistically, with all that the number of spear attacks, I should have done probably more. So it's 6 dead spearmen versus 6 dead Witch Elves, and with rank, charge, banner, everything else, the Witch Elves are gonna break and run. Lower right there, you can see actually my Bolt Thrower crew put 2 wounds onto the Great Eagle, and the Eagle only put 1 wound onto me. So actually, it's probably the worst of all possible outcomes. Either let me kill, well, I was going to kill the Eagle, but let him just kill the stupid Bolt Thrower so I could shoot him next turn. But now he's probably going to kill my Elf on my turn, reform, and just get to charge the next Bolt Thrower for free. So that was a little frustrating. You feel like, yes, I did 2 wounds, but oh wait, that's still not good, because I'm still going to lose a unit, and I don't get to shoot you in my phase. And there they go. Witch Elves break and run. He pursues, but does not catch, which puts him pretty much in position for a good flame, which is exactly what I'd hoped for. In my turn, bottom of 2, the Pegmaster charges the Bolt Thrower, makes it without any difficulty. Hydra moves up to do Operation Flamer, and then you can see on the right my Supreme Sorceress bails from the crossbowmen who are about to get hit by the Phoenix Guard, and joins the Shades who had moved up. Crossbowmen on the right wheel, as there's nothing forward anymore to fire at, and the Pegmaster moves up so he can attempt to charge the archers. Here's the map of it. You can see, all right, we're starting to collapse on the center. We'll see if we can stop them. And on the left there, I don't know if that photo looked like those white lines were a lot closer. So again, not to scale. Either way, the crossbowmen we know are going to get charged next turn, barring some miracle. Magic after channels, 5 dice to 3. Again, another fairly low round of magic. So I figure I might as well go big and throw Final Trans at the Phoenix Guard. I know they've got, what, 5 armor and a 4-up ward. And since Final Trans says no saves of any kind allowed, this seems like the perfect opportunity to knock them down. I fire it off, it goes off, and I kill one. Out of 20 dice, I kill one of them. So, yeah, that was a little disappointing. I should put a sad face on the screen. that was the big power move, my ace in the hole, and it kind of let me down. Shooting. I don't know if that couldn't have been just my crossbowman. I think it was my crossbowman and my one bolt thrower behind the Hydra. But even that, I killed 8 white lions, which was way more than I should have done. So I guess it kind of makes up for the Phoenix Guard final trans fiasco, but not enough. The Phoenix Guard were actually in the fighting really, so I was wanting to kill more of them. But I'll take it. And there's the Hydra. I think he hit a lot, maybe 16, 18 were hit, which came out to 13 wounded, and I killed 7. He had a 6-up armor save, which he made 3 out of 13 wounds, and then out of the remaining 10, he made 6 ward saves. Again, not, statistically, maybe I should have killed 3 more, so killing an extra 3 or so spearmen wouldn't have been a huge deal, but every little bit helps. So kind of disappointing that all the stars lined up, the movement, the flamer template, and I was expecting a lot more than 7 dead elves. But that's okay, because I made up for it in shooting between the crossbow, the bolt throwers, the shades, my other squad of crossbowmen on the right flank. We did kill quite a few elves. So when you look at it in total, we did kill quite a few things in shooting. The question is going to be now, is it enough? With the spearman unit down quite a bit, I thought they might be combat ineffective, or at least even a crossbow squad could have a chance against them. The Phoenix Guard were a little tougher, a little more worried about them, but it's only one unit, so sure, they may kill the first unit, the second unit they touch, but hopefully I can whittle them down over time. In melee, Pigmaster has no difficulty taking out the bolt thrower and reforms to face the center. He's going to help out with the archers. And as predicted, the Great Eagle has no problem killing the last crewman and faces the next bolt thrower crew. And as a bonus, my Hydra heals 2 wounds and only has 1 right now. And there we go. High Elf, turn 3. The White Lions do indeed charge. The Spearmen decided to charge my Hydra, which I had expected. I thought they were going to go for the Witch Elves. Based on the map, you might have thought they could make the charge, but they could. It was just in their arc. So I was kind of excited about this one. I figured the Hydra had a good chance of stomping and killing a bunch of spearmen. Phoenix Guard, charge my crossbowmen and lose 1 to stand and shoot. And of course, the Great Eagle charges the next bolt thrower down the line. So a lot of engaged units. Actually, you can look on the top there. His archers tried to quick reform to face my Pegmaster. They failed, so they just reformed and stood there. Magic, 8 dice to 6. He casts Fiery Convocation off on my unengaged Witch Squad, and it goes off irresistibly. and obliterates that unit, which suddenly changes the calculus quite a bit here in the center for me. I'm not sure what exactly. Maybe he rolled a 9, but his level 2 takes a wound, and his level 4 takes a wound. Uh, Not a fair trade. I would much rather the spell not go off. And he had nothing left. He had used all his dice, or maybe it drained his dice, so he didn't have anything else. Regardless, we go to the shooting phase, and there's nothing. So we go to melee. Actually, my crossbowmen, account for themselves fairly well, killing 3 of the white lions and only losing 4 of themselves. But that's fine. That's more than enough to break me. And the crossbowmen run. They do manage to stay on the table, but they do run. The Hydra kills a few of the spearmen, but with the anointed one there whacking away, actually, I think the Hydra only took 2 wounds, which isn't terrible, but again, with charge, the BSB, and he had a banner in there as well. He easily beat me in combat, and the Hydra runs. The Eagle kills 1 crewman, does not take any wounds back, so again is stuck in combat on my phase, and will again avoid being shot. And the Phoenix Guard make quick work of my crossbowmen and take no wounds in return, it appears. And they kill the crossbowmen. The crossbowmen run off the board, and they overrun into my bolt thrower. There's the summary of melee. Lots of skulls, more on my side, and then the overruns. Now things are not looking so good anymore. My shooting is very reduced, and I don't have a lot of targets to shoot at. My turn. Pegmasters both charge the archers. At least this, I think, will go my way. Wasn't sure what to do in the center, so I charged. What did I have there? 6 witch elves. I kind of thought, well, their witch elves are fast, right? They'll get some attacks off and kill these guys. This, yeah, I wasn't sure what to do. I was kind of desperate here. Um, I charged the shades into the back of the Great Eagle. There was something going on in the back of my head. A little warning, spidey sense saying this is a bad move. You should just run away and try to shoot. But I was desperate. I was losing. It's like, well, if I charge in, these guys are fast. They should kill the eagle. The Phoenix Guard will kill the bolt thrower, but then they have to reform. So I should get a turn to run away after that. So I went for it. Hydra continued to run. He stayed on the board. However, the crossbowman ran off the board. So there you go. Hydra. He is not on the map. He is on the board. And the Witch Elves charge in. Magic, 10 dice to 8. So because they're charging in, I dispel Fiery Convocation, which in hindsight, probably should have let it just go and had more magic to cast. But that pretty much ate up my power dice, and then he could dispel whatever else I cast. In melee, the Pegmasters attack, and they do a number on the archers. I kill the level 2 and a couple archers. They do nothing back. The Witch Elf battle down there between his anointed one and his BSB, both being heroes or lords or whatever characters. Their initiative is actually higher than my Witch Elves, or at least the anointed one was. Either way, they kill a bunch of my witches without any trouble, before me striking first, and then I have such a low number of attacks. I do nothing, and the Witch Elves get killed. We do kill the Great Eagle down there on the lower right, and reform, but his Phoenix Guard kill my Bolt Thrower and reform towards my remaining one. The archers run. My Pigmaster is not able to catch them, but he does pursue. The other one faces back towards the center. There are my Shades and Supreme Sorceress reforming, trying to hide behind the Bolt Thrower. His Spearman reforming to face my Pigmaster. So yeah, things are not looking good anymore. They weren't looking good last turn, but they're not looking good any better this turn. On his turn, his archers rally, and his white lions charge my Hydra. Hydra, of course, runs off the board, and his white lions actually reach it and overtake it. They go off the board. Phoenix Guard charge my Bolt Thrower. It's kind of skipping ahead a bit. They charge the Bolt Thrower, kill it, and then overrun into my Shades. And that was the warning bell. I couldn't put into words. I couldn't think it out, but I knew there was a risk, and there it is, just overrunning into me. There's the movement. And there you go. Just push the Phoenix Guard forward a bit, and now we're in deep, deep trouble. In my turn, Pegmaster charges the archers. You know, my other Pegmaster I wasn't sure what to do with. I didn't think he could win against the Anointed one. Wasn't sure, but my Pegmasters aren't really built for major combat. So I just kind of flew around. Probably should have just charged in to see what would happen. Since I'm losing anyway. Go big or go home, I guess. I went for Final Transmutation, another desperate attempt. I thought, well, the Spearmen with 2 characters are unengaged. Maybe I can get lucky and blink one of the characters. But I didn't. I just killed a Spearman or 2. And with the shooting, I managed to kill the rest of the Spearmen and put a wound on each of the characters. And I killed the archers at the top of the screen. They fled off the board. I reformed towards the center. And I believe at this point I conceded the game. Sure, my Pigmasters could fly around, but the Phoenix Guard are going to kill the Shades, kill the level 4, or break them and make them run. Then they'll reform, face my crossbowmen with level 2, and just charge into them on my turn, or their turn's coming up next, so I couldn't get away. White Lion's going to come on. You know, at that point, I've got the 2 Pegmasters, which can't really hang with those units, and a Bolt Thrower at the bottom of the screen is going to die. So it was getting late, and the writing was on the wall. High Elf victory. So I guess we found out why High Elves win, why they do so well. Because they're tough. They're tougher than you'd think, being a toughness 3 elf. And they got a lot of ward saves, they got a lot of protective stuff like the White Lions against shooting. And even in small numbers, they're very skilled and very deadly. So, lessons learned. After my first triumphant victory, my second depressing defeat, how can we rebound from it? Again, I thought I did fairly well in deployments. I thought I outdeployed my opponent. You know, trying to play off the whole which flank do I win and overrun, which flank do I stall. He had a lot more points tied up on that left flank. Killing the Reavers was an achievable objective, and I did it. I did tie up the White Lions for a few turns, and I thought I had a good chance at the center. I think the bigger problem is point 2 there. I've played 40K for a while, and a lot of that's all about target prioritization. Knowing what the math hammer, knowing what you can expect to kill, knowing what you need to target turn by turn, and making sure you're using the right shooting attacks against the right, the most vulnerable targets. I didn't do that so well here. Maybe I should just let the archers go. Hell, I could have just charged the 2 Pegmasters into the full unit of archers, and they probably could have won. And I could have focused more of my shooting on those 2 units advancing up the center. So I gotta rethink a little bit on the whole. when you look at army lists for other Dark Elves, they usually have what do they call it, the two towers, the twin towers, two large blocks, less shooting. Certainly not as many crossbowmen as I have. And they win a lot more through melee with shooting as support and not as a primary means of killing things. Um, so I don't know. I have to relook at it. Shooting just isn't as deadly in fantasy. Not for major units. It just takes too many turns. Whereas one turn of melee can, if you win, you can run down an entire block. Yeah, I mean, there's a couple spots of bad luck. I could have killed a lot more Phoenix Guard as final trans. Ultimately, if I had killed statistically, 6 or 7, like average, um, would 13 or 14 Phoenix Guard have been any less scary? Running into my crossbowman, running into my bolt thrower, running into that final unit of crossbowmen by level 2? Probably not. They probably would have chewed him up anyway. So the Hydra Breath, again, he saved more than he should have. I could have killed a few more, but ultimately I don't think it would have made that big a difference. Morale, leadership. Uh, it is a lot more important, I think, in fantasy than 40k. Um, I don't have a BSB. I didn't really take one because I didn't have a good model for one, and I don't like proxying any more than I have to, which at this point's a lot anyway. Um, and the units that broke and ran in this particular case would have probably been outside the BSB's bubble, but I don't know. I think I'm gonna have to have one. Which my hero points are already kind of tied up between the two Pegmasters and the level 2, so that means I'm gonna drop one. I like the Pegmasters, so I think I'm gonna have to drop the level 2, but I like metal. It's a good, just in case I run up against 1+ armor save knights or whatever. There's always something with high armor out there. So what do I do? That leads to my next point. I'm not too pleased with dark magic. Um, it, I don't know. I wanted to spell the lore that would focus on killing. It just doesn't for I don't know for what it is. For a lore that I'm hoping will do a lot of killing on large blocks, it doesn't kill that much in large blocks, and the few spells it does have kind of lose effectiveness as the blocks get smaller. Blade Wind, not as effective. Um, what is it, Soul Steal or whatever, the blast is, less effective as the blocks get smaller because it can scatter more. Chill Wind is kind of eh. I mean, it's nice it's a low casting cost, but I don't know. If I have to lose level 2 metal, maybe I'll try level 4's metal. I don't usually see that as a primary, but no, I like it a lot. If I keep the warlocks, I'll keep some handy magic missiles and effective hex of soul blight. So we may go that route. I don't know. We'll see. But in conclusion, lot to learn. Defeat is especially beginning it, early in my fantasy career. Defeat is fine. You learn a lot more from losses sometimes, so I'm okay with it. Thank you for watching and following along. Leave your thoughts in the comment section. Let me know what else I need to consider. And I will see you with Battle Report 3.